G'day guys, well it's finally lift day for the Ford Ranger. It's been a long time coming, so in this episode we're going to show you how we install it so that you can do it yourself. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into it.
Cool.
Alright, so why did I choose Outback Armour? Now, I have no affiliation with Outback Armour. I purchased this with my own money, so all these opinions are my own. So look, I think Outback Armour have got a pretty good name in the industry, and I think they represent really good value for money. So this kit here, which is the adjustable bypass series of shocks with the constant 150 kilo rated suspension, set me back about 2,500 bucks, which I think that's pretty good value. Like, you know, to do a whole suspension kit on a car. Look, I could have got them in to install it, or I could have got another mechanic to install it for about 500 or 600 bucks. But I've installed a few lift kits myself. They're not that hard. So anyway, we're going to go through, show you how to do it. So the reason I went with the constant 150 kilos in the rear is because I actually have a long range tank, 150 litre Brown Davis tank. I've got Brown Davis underbody protection. I've got the canopy. So the canopy itself weighs about 80 kilos. And then I'm also going to stick a set of drawers in here eventually. So the constant 150s should give me that nice balance between hard and soft. You know, it's not too firm and it's not too soft for when I load it up. Once I put the caravan on the back, that may obviously impact the way the suspension handles, but later down the track I may put airbags in. I'll just have to wait and see. So one thing you want to do before you go ripping out your old suspension is you actually want to get a baseline and work out how much suspension lift you're actually going to get out of the kit you're putting in. So the easiest way to do that is simply by getting your tape measure and measuring from the top of the wheel arch to the center of the wheel. Now at the moment this measures 550 millimeters. Now when it came out the factory with nothing on it and nothing in the back of the tub, this sat at 600 mil. So I know that suspension sagged about 50 millimeters just with the current weight that it's got in. Now that's not a lot of weight, so it just goes to prove that the standard suspension isn't really up for the task. All right, so what we'll do is we'll do exactly the same what we did at the back. Take the measurement from the top of the wheel arch down to the center of the wheel, and we're looking at about 540 millimeters. So from factory, that's dropped another 10 millimeters from factory. So what I'll do now is I'll go around, measure the other side, and then I've got a baseline to know how much lift I'm actually going to get in total. All right, so the first thing we want to do is obviously jack the car up. So we're going to work on the front first. So by simply just jacking the front of the car up, and we'll put some jack stands underneath, then we can rip the wheels off. All right, so now we've jacked the car up. It's now sitting on jack stands. We'll just keep the jack under there as a redundancy, and now we'll rip the wheels off. All right, so now we've removed the wheel. The first thing we've got to do is remove the ABS line. So this is that line here. There's a couple of clips that we'll remove. We'll remove the upper control arm bolt. So that's a 21 millimeter bolt. What we'll do is we'll undo that by a few threads and then give it a bit of a tap with a hammer just to loosen that, because it's a nice seated joint. And then down the bottom here, there's the 27 millimeter bolt for the shock absorber. And then at the top, we've got some, I think they're 13 or 14s at the top, and there's 3 of them, and that'll do. And then hopefully we can then pull it all out and then put the new one in. tell you what, if you don't have a set of ratcheting spanners, I'll go get some, because they are worth their weight in gold. Alright, so now we've just removed the top 3 bolts, which are 16mm at the top of the strut. We removed the big 27mm bolt down the bottom. So we don't need to disconnect anything else, I don't think, so far. So we'll try to pry this out. What I'm thinking is that we'll just pull it from the bottom, and then that should then allow us enough space to sort of get this down and then drop it down. So we're good to go. Boom. There you have it. One strut, pretty easily out. Took a little bit of persuasion down the bottom. Just got caught. What was happening was that this bush down here, this metal bit on the bush, was just catching on the bottom of that flange there. But it's all out now, so ready to put the new one in. Alright, so we're about to install the new Outback Armour strut. Now, one thing to note is that it comes with some new bolts on the top, so you don't need to reuse the factory ones. And I think they're actually a slightly different size. On top of the actual strut here, on the fronts, this is where your adjustable bypass is. So you can actually take this rubber cap off if you want, and that exposes the knob to turn, and then you give it some clicks, and you can actually turn it. So I'm pretty sure if you turn it right, clockwise, it hardens it up, and if you turn it left, it firms it up. So there's about 20 points of adjustment. So once we get it in, we'll click it to about halfway, and that'll be the good starting point. We'll put that rubber cap back on. So now let's get into fitting the strut. So basically what we'll do is we'll put it in the exact reverse way we got the old one out. So we'll put the top in sort of first, and then the bottom one will come in last. So. Oh, look at that. So, there you have it. Make sure you remove the sway bar. I should have done that in the beginning, but anyway, lesson learnt. I now know for the next time, next side. Alright, so corner one done. I'm pretty impressed. One thing I did miss when assembling this was actually removing the sway bar link bolt at the top here. That made it a hell of a lot easier to get the strut in. So I've definitely learnt that for the other side. But what do you reckon, guys? What do you think? That looks pretty good? I'm pretty impressed. It's definitely a nice big upgrade, and I can't wait to get it on the road and have a drive. Anyway, let's get into the other side. Alright, so front. Check this out. Look at the gap between here now. Absolutely huge. Obviously it's going to settle a bit once we'll take it for a drive and get a wheel on and stuff, but man, I can't wait to do the back. So let's crack on with that. Alright, so I have now jacked the rear of the car up. I've removed the wheels and the car's actually sitting on some jack stands on the chassis. And then now I'm just going to lower the diff, let that sit on another pair of jack stands, and then I can then start on the rear suspension. Alright, so next up we've got to remove the shock absorber, and then we'll start undoing the big U-bolts here that hold on the leaf to the diff, and then we'll start on the shackles as well, and then just yeah, one by one we'll disassemble it. And there you have it. Leaf suspension out. I'll show you what the difference is between the constant 150s and the standard ones that they come out in the factory. Alright, so these are the Outback Armour 150 constants, and this is the standard leaf pack that the Ranger comes with. A little bit of a difference. It still runs a 5 leaf pack design, however this is a little bit thicker than that. Not by much, but just a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see how it rides, and hopefully it does the job. Here he goes, first time on the ground. Oh my gosh. Check this out. Oh man, that is some serious lift. Alright, well, That'll do for tonight, guys. We'll come back in the morning and we'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so now it's the morning. We got the lift kit installed last night. So there's just a couple of things we have to finish off this morning. We've got to grease the pins, grease the shackles. We've got to install the center bearing spacer. So that spaces the center bearing down. And then put the spare wheel back on and then go take it for a wheel alignment. So let's get into it, hey? Alright. Alright, so this is the center bearing that we need to sort of space down. Now the reason why we need to space it down is because at the moment this front part of the shaft and the rear part of the shaft, they're not straight, so they're actually sitting at a bit of an angle. So by spacing that center bearing down, we're going to get them both on the same angle and nice and straight. So there's a couple of ways to do it. You can actually take this off, flip it around 180 degrees, and then that will drop it down. Or in the Outback Armour kit, they actually give you a spacer kit. So, and basically it just consists of washers, and you just put the washers in till you need to get it down as far as what you need to. So it'll be a bit of a trial and test and adjust, but we'll stick it in, have a look, and then see how we go. All right, what a job. So problem was that I had to move the Brown Davis tank down. So I don't know if you can see that. So the tank is right in the way of this nut. So I had to drop the tank down a little bit to get to it, but that looks much better now. So we've got the output shaft coming to the center bearing and then down to the rear tail shaft. All looks to be one line. So hopefully we're all good. And I don't need to do that again because I'm not looking forward to doing that again. So I'm now armed with my grease gun. I'm just going to go around and grease up the shackles and also the grease pins. And now just to put the spare tyre back. Alright, so one thing I really love about these Outback Armour shocks is that they're fully adjustable. So what you can do is, on these on the rear, is that there's a plus and a minus. So it's either sport or comfort. So at the moment I don't know where it's sitting at, but there's about 20 points of adjustment. So if we wind it all the way to the right, and then you can feel like little notches in there, and then we wind back 10 clicks, and that should be about in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's about the middle. And then from there, you can either go softer or firmer. So I'll set it all to medium, and then we'll take it for a drive, and then yeah, see what we prefer. All right, so much like the back, the front also has adjustability. So this time the actual adjustment knob is sitting on top of the strut. So I'll stick you in here and show you. So this is the top of the strut. Just remove that black cap. So the good thing is about these black caps, they're nice and firm, so they're not going to come off on the tracks. So take that there. So what we do is we'll just wind it all the way to the right first, and then we'll go 10 clicks back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we put that dust cap back on. So one thing you don't want to forget when you're doing your suspension lift kit, it's probably the most important mod, and that's the sticker. Easily 20% better off-road when you put the sticker on. Alright guys, we're in the car heading to Bob Jane to go get a wheel alignment. Now it's pretty important that you get a wheel alignment done as soon as you do any sort of adjustment or suspension lift or anything like that, because you actually have changed the suspension geometry. So we'll go down there, get them to wheel align it, and then we'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I've just gotten back from having it wheel aligned and taken it for a drive, and wow, what an absolute difference the Outback Armour suspension has made. I don't know why I put up with the standard suspension for so long. Anyway, the front ended up raising up another 55 millimeters from standard, and the rear raised up about 45 millimeters from standard. So overall, I'm really happy. It handles really well, it looks really good. Yeah, can't recommend it highly enough. Anyway guys, I hope that's helped you out when you're looking to do a lift kit on your Ford Ranger. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.